Hey, how's everybody doing? So in this lecture, we'll be discussing briefly what plans are and some examples of what potential plans can look like. So a plan is fairly simple. It's just a specific way to do the resolution. So for example, if I were to make the statement, you should go to the grocery store, a specific plan would be you should go to you should go to Walgreens. That gives a specific, what's called an example of the resolution. That is, it proves the resolution true in that if I defend going to Walgreens, that proves that going to a grocery store is a good idea, but does so by proving a specific example of the resolution. This idea of affirming via example is also known as parametricizing. You can almost think of it like a circle. The AF can, within the boundaries of that circle, can carve out a piece of that circle and use that to prove to prove the resolution true without affirming the resolution in totality. So now that you understand basically what a plan is, which I think the easiest way to think of it is just proving an example of the resolution, being the affirmative burden, there are kind of five core things that are important to remember when constructing a plan and what you need to win, which is also known as the HITS acronym. So harms is a bad thing that is happening. So that's the H, a bad thing that is happening in the status quo that the plan is able to prevent. So with that grocery store analogy, the harm is that I'm incredibly hungry and have run out of food. Therefore, I need to go to the grocery store and specifically go to Walgreens to address that. Inherency refers to the idea that the plan has not happened already. So for a plan to be inherent means that it has not happened. So inherency is that I'm currently sitting at home and have not gone to the Walgreens. If the plan is no longer inherent, or any position is no longer inherent, the negative automatically wins because it proves the affirmative is not has not proven an idea desirable if it already exists. The T stands for topicality, which will be a lecture of its own, but the short version is just that topicality refers to whether or not the affirmative, well, defends the resolution and defends the topic. So within that circle analogy I just gave, yes, the affirmative can defend a smaller subset of that circle if they read a plan, but they can't jump outside of the circle entirely. So if the negative were to argue Walgreens is not actually a grocery store, it is more of a pharmacy, that would prove the affirmative's plan is not topical because they have not proven the quote-unquote resolution of that you should go to the grocery store. Significance is the one you should least worry about. I just threw it in because it's part of the acronym. Significance means, is the plan important? Is it a big deal? But the reason people have cared a lot of that less is that the harms seem to implicitly demonstrate that the plan is quote unquote significant. So I wouldn't worry about that. And the last thing is solvency. It's that, does the plan work? Yes, there are harms, and there's a problem, but is there a solution? So going back to that grocery store example once again, if the negative wins that that Walgreens is all out of food, going to the grocery store would not be able to prevent you from being hungry, so it wouldn't achieve anything. So solvency requires the affirmative to demonstrate they're able to address the harms. So for an example of this, one of the most common positions on the January-February topic was a plan specific to Saudi Arabia. So you can go to the NDCA wiki and check the St. Andrews IB wiki, and that's an app that Ishan and some other people had read, and you can download it there. This is an example of a plan because the resolution was about authoritarian regimes, and an example of an authoritarian regime was Saudi Arabia that should have military aid cut off to them.